Hello everyone, I'm Carla, Cosmic Crone, and I'm going to share this with the Womb Wisdom Portal. And I'm here to talk with you about Divine Feminine Astrology. We're over in the portal doing Aquarian readings. People are posting their chart, and I am doing a reading around what house Aquarius is in, so they can know where and how to take advantage of all of that energy that's in Aquarius right now. So this is just a simple giveaway, and it's going through this evening, so you can go over there, and if you're a woman and you identify as a woman, you've got a womb, energetic or otherwise, you belong in the Womb Wisdom Portal. So you can ask for membership and find the video and the post that tells you how to get the free Aquarius reading over there. So I hope you will join me over there for that later on. The purpose of this conversation is I wanted to do some explaining, both to myself and to all of you. Those of you who followed me for a while may know that I teach about sexuality. I teach about womb wisdom and feminine empowerment. Let's talk about what it really is. Divine feminine power rising through your body and showing up and impacting the world as you. And this includes your sexuality, your wealth, your voice, and healing old wounds, ancestral traumas that women carry in the womb, and healing, all of this healing and transformation is the underpinnings of dismantling patriarchy, racism, and injustice, and bringing a more just and embodied and loving and pleasurable world and society. So that's why I'm here. I started the School of Womb Wisdom for private and small group initiation to train womb priestesses to teach about sexuality, and then no sooner had I opened the doors than Spirit said, that astrology thing that you do with your clients and that other people tap into from time to time, and that new moon and full moon reading you give away on the Cosmic Crone page, teach that. Teach people how to approach their lives and astrology the way that you do, the way that I have given you, because honestly, I channel this. Every reading is opening up and saying, Goddess, speak through me. Ancestors who are represented by the planet, speak through me. So in case it looks like a left turn or a U-turn or an about face of some kind, I thought I would explain how they're related, how I came to astrology, how I use astrology, and why I am now teaching astrology. So I have a story to tell. I've written it out. And let's get started. And of course, like everything else, it starts at the beginning when I was a little girl. My whole life, I have had a personal relationship with the sky, especially the night sky. The moon has been my constant companion. I used to sing to the moon, and the moon would sing back when I was very little. And stargazing and astronomy became a passion as soon as I began to read encyclopedias and watch science shows on TV and learn about things in school. Gosh, I loved galaxies and infinity. And of course, I grew up during the moon, the race to the moon. So it was a part of my life, astronomy and stargazing. And it was a part of my religion in some ways, because the Psalms, the Bible, talks about how the heavens speak to us. And at the same time, I also learned that astrology was the work of Satan. And so the stars speaking to us literally through astrology was forbidden. However, coming of age in the 70s, every teenager had a Ouija board, and every teenager looked up the astrology column first thing in all the teen magazines, and we all knew our sign and the sign of the cute guy that we were going to marry and all of that. But that was harmless kid stuff. And when at some point I began to look at astrology books, it was just, it made me feel like math made me feel like I was really dumb and I couldn't understand it and it was too hard. And I just kind of put that aside and really didn't do much. Astrology was entertaining and kind of silly. That's how I started out. And part of the problem was that I was living 100% in my head and in my intellect, detached from my intuition, from my body, from understanding how things that do not fit the scientific method that we learned in school, I didn't understand how they worked. And that was by design. Patriarchy designed it, and the religion I grew up in designed it. And then came the shift. In my 40s, all the things, the quote woo-woo things like Reiki and energy and oracles and pendulums and all of these things that I didn't understand and didn't make any sense, suddenly started making some sense. And so I became interested in astrology and still never would have considered myself an astrologer. But my best friend and I would get on the phone once a month and we would read the monthly astrology report to each other and cross our fingers that some of that cool stuff would come true. And I was beginning my journey of healing and transformation and getting back into my body and my intuition and releasing the iron grip that my mind had on me. And I had a couple of readings for myself, and I loved it. What's not to love about a story that's all about you, a mythic story, and you are the star. I was the star of my own story, but I still didn't understand it. And I had no temptation to, quote, become an astrologer. But then in 2012, two things happened. Exactly this time a year ago, on February 3rd, 2012, Neptune entered Pisces. My sun's sign is Pisces. Neptune is the ruler, the modern ruler of Pisces. And for some reason, when Neptune entered Pisces, the planets started talking to me. And it was beautiful. And at first it was the ones I could see, Jupiter and Saturn, and of course, Mars and Venus, the moon, the sun. And then everybody started talking to me, even planets I didn't know existed. And so I turned to astrology. This was a feeling, not necessarily a voice in my ear. And in order to understand what the planets were saying, I needed a framework, and astrology was the framework. So I began taking astrology seriously and learning a little bit about how this thing works, how to read a chart, what a chart is. And then in the summer of 2012, I met Lilith. And I wanted to get to know this goddess Lilith, who was pulling my strings and rocking my boat in such a real and potent way. And it didn't take too many Google searches to learn that Lilith, if you want to learn about Lilith, you want to talk to the astrologers, because it is the astrologers who have written the books and written the articles about Lilith. They're the ones who understand her with depth and this kind of evolutionary vitality that she was showing up to me as. So that settled it. I really started studying astrology, and it was a self-guided tour. I took some classes with people that I trusted and who were aligned with my worldview. And mostly I just read articles, read charts, looked things up, felt, listened to those planets, did ceremony with those planets, began to meet them and understand them and have that relationship with them. And then it was a small step to be in the weeds with the client and say, let's see what your astrology says about that. And so I began opening all private initiation programs with astrology. And it gave us so much clarity about where the strengths and weaknesses lay, the wounds and the opportunities. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. And then people got wind of the fact that I did these extraordinary and unique divine feminine astrology readings because I wanted to know what the feminine had to say. I was meeting the goddess in my life and world and in all of these women. And astrology, you know, the 9 major planets it's all about guys, all about what the gods have to say. And you go to these so-called minor planets, asteroids, and a few centaurs and some other mysterious points that probably some of them weren't even discovered when I started a few years ago. And that's how you get the divine feminine perspective, by looking beyond the conventional chart. So people started asking for the readings, and I would offer a few every now and then. Monthly, I would give out a few opportunities to have a reading with me as a standalone. And I built a few programs around it, like Desire and Destiny, where we have 3 sessions for going deep, deep, deep and using the astrology wheel as a way into the unconscious and into what is hidden. It's such a great tool for that. So you may ask, what does astrology have to do with womb, wisdom, and sexuality? And I prefer the question, what does the womb have to do with astrology? Well, the womb is a crucible for alchemy, for transformation. It is a container, and you apply that energy and things shift inside. I mean, just imagine what happens. The great metaphor is conception and birth itself. Something mysterious and amazing happens through the union of masculine and feminine inside that womb, the womb that is inside the feminine womb-carrying body. And what happens is someone who did not exist before on this plane emerges, potentially. And that person, where was that person before? In the cosmos somewhere. So that which is in the cosmos, in the great void, in the unknown, in the vastness, comes through the womb into this world, this life. Well, that is a metaphor for everything that is created. As I say, from a biscuit to a galaxy. A painting to a play, a business to a book. So the womb is at the center of the wheel. And when I do astrology work with my clients, whether it's the unique solo session or a 1-year initiation, we go into the womb to meet that energy there, to access the truth of the reading and the planets. And when I teach astrology, I will teach it the same way. So the womb is the place where the cosmos and the form of the earth meet, and astrology is a way that the cosmos communicates with the earth and the people on earth. It is a language, a framework, a symbology. So that's the short version, and we could spend an hour on that teaching alone. My clients love their readings. Some of what the reading will provide for them is insight into purpose. The goddesses have so much to say about why you are here and the career or the business or the modality of healing that you are here to bring forth. How are you going to serve life and the cosmos in this lifetime? The information is in your chart. So if you're still looking, you will get clues there. Or if it's time to change and get even truer to yourself, your chart will have some answers for you, some clues. So if you're making career moves or business decisions, money decisions, relationship decisions, the chart has information that you can use. The goddess eye view of opportunities and directions that you can go. Timing. Someone recently did a session with me wanting to know how something is going to play out this year. And the timing was very clear that certain things were not going to come together in the beginning of the year, but all of a sudden alignment appeared and potential and opportunity looks like it's going to unfold in a mighty way the second half of the year. It's what she'll make of it. But it's very clear that timing is important to success, whether it's meeting the love of your life or making a timely and profitable business decision. Timing is the great-grandmother and the first cousin of synchronicity and I've lost the other word. Synchronicity and serendipity. That's the word I wanted. So astrology can help you see that. And astrology, the astrological wheel, has places where you can see the shadows and the resources. The shadows and the wounds, those are the places that you meet them when you're ready to meet them. And you can't meet them before you're ready. If it's premature, it just re-traumatizes you. But when you're ready to see it and glean the gold, mine it, go down there and get the gold, the gift on the other side, then astrology can show you where to look. There are planets that are specifically directed to that. And your resources, the goddesses especially, tell you where you are strong, what kind of resources, your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual resources. The goddesses and the houses, they'll tell you everything you need to know, and especially the transits. How can you create the life you are here to create? How can you heal? How can you go down there and mine those wounds with pleasure and ease? Even if it hurts, you can experience it as pleasure and ease. Yeah, it's crazy, but when you have tools and support, that's what's possible. And the chart points out insights around sexuality and relationships. And also your relationship with money. And often those points are in the same place because money is a part of your second chakra world and the situations, planets, houses, and aspects that speak about your sexuality will also tell you a story about money. And it can be very helpful to have that information. And that's just getting started. Every chart is unique, every chart is complex and rich, and every chart is this magical formula of insight and mystery, and we just have to pull everything up and take a look and see what's there for you. And it depends on where you are in your life, your age, what is going on right now, as well as what was going on at the moment you took your first breath. So it's big work. Take a breath here. So a few things that I have learned about astrology in this time of doing it, things that surprised me and they may surprise you. The meaning of astrology is the construction of thousands of years from ancient times to the present. And because of that, astrology is evolutionary. It is not just the old way. People specialize in all kinds of things. You can study astrology for the rest of your life. But the fact is, it is all, as much as it is very old, and the old meanings are important as a grounding and a framework, it also means what it means right now in context that did not exist back when astrology, when they were just working with the 6 visible planets. A long time ago, when astrology was invented in ancient Greece, ancient Persia, even ancient India, the astrologers and the astronomers were the same people. There was no separation. It was both science, measurement, tracking, observation, and meaning. So astrology is earth-based medicine. Astrology is not out there. Astrology only has meaning from the perspective of Earth. It doesn't even exist without Earth. Everything that is on that chart is from the perspective of the center of the Earth. It is from the perspective of the person seeking the reading or the event. Again, it's Earth, the event, the location on Earth that is happening. And so this is where it relates back to the womb, because the womb is the center of the person, and Earth is metaphorically the womb of life. So just recognize that. When you're working with astrology, you're working with the earth, not the sky. And the two things they are part and parcel of one another. Astrology works with archetypes as represented by planets, places, relationships, and the alchemy between them. And I am comfortable describing the planets and the various points we use in astrology as a relationship, as ancestors. So the planets that we see, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, the Sun, the Moon, they're ancestors. We come from them. And they give a damn about who we are and how we behave and how we grow and what we produce and create in this life. They have a relationship with us. Even the ones we can't see, maybe even especially the ones we can't see. The farther out they are, the more ancestral they are. So these archetypes, the divine feminine archetypes especially, that is very much central to how I use astrology with clients. And it's embodied. What is your relationship with this energy? How is this energy being carried in your body? And then how is it affecting your mind, your belief system, your thought process? Astrology, like all magical tools, ultimately means what you make it mean. It is not predictive or fated. It is descriptive. And astrology responds to your desire, just like the rest of the energy in the universe does. So it will help you discern your desire, identify what it is you really want. And when you know what you really want, you can look to astrology to help you find the way to expand and receive it, to act and create it, to ask for it. It's a highly creative tool. It's a manifesting tool, along with so much else. Astrology is full of symbology and keys and codes and doorways and portals that help you see what has been lying in plain sight, and also to pull away the veil from what has been hidden and make a decision from a place of deeper knowing and multi-dimensions of information. That sounds pretty damn valuable to me. So that is one of the things that astrology does. And because it is so rich, evolutionary, living, moving, changing, and available, and it works on us whether we understand it or read it or pay attention to it or not, it is still working on us. You'll never stop learning about it. So why not learn about it and be conscious of how the astrology is working on you so that you can make use of it. You can meet that energy halfway. You can call it in and stir it around and add consciousness and intention and make it work for you. Because I can read a chart, I know when certain planets and houses and transits are active, and I can discern the story that they're telling me. An example has been the last 2 years. I've noticed a lot of action around my natal Vesta. Vesta is the priestess. And in fact, Vesta called into being the womb priestess initiation and the school of womb wisdom. And so the activity around my natal Vesta and how Vesta has continued to move and is moving through my chart, and the coincidences with birthdays and new moons and full moons and other major transits is just giving me a wealth of information that I cannot ignore. In fact, I ignore it at my peril. So that's what I do for clients, and that's what you can do for yourself when you have an understanding of how to work with astrology, especially divine feminine astrology. So I am now teaching divine feminine astrology, and I'm going to describe, there is so much that's available, but the very first program I've designed is a very simple 6 weeks tutorial. It is a private deep diving tutorial in foundations of astrology. And I made it short, 6 weeks, because I want you to be able to get your hands around the basics. and then decide where do you want to go next. So here's what that looks like. And who's it for? It's for healers, coaches, witches, or any person who is dedicated to personal transformation. It's for you if you want to use astrology as a tool first for personal growth and insight, and also to inform your work, whatever your work is. So if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a mother, a school teacher, a business coach, a shopkeeper, anything, any profession, career, or business, a healer, an artist, a creator. Astrology can help you be more present and take advantage of the opportunities available to you. The Divine Feminine Astrology Foundations tutorial starts where you are. So if you know nothing about astrology, but you know you want to learn, we start there. And you learn it deeply. Like I said, we go into your womb space and you develop a relationship with these aspects. Because honestly, you can learn about astrology reading a book. If you want to do this tutorial, it's because you are craving a deeper experience. And you want to do it fairly quickly. You don't want to be guessing. You want to know how to know. You want to learn how to learn. So, some of the advantages of the private tutorial. It's an intense level of access to me. We have weekly Zoom sessions, and I give you lots of handouts and assignments so that you can learn. You do need to dedicate some attention, daily attention to learning it. And you have 24/7 access to me through a messenger app called Telegram, where you can post a question anytime, and if I'm not asleep, I will answer you. Even if it's to say, let me look that up and I'll get back to you, or I need to get to my computer, I'll get back to you. It is high touch, high attention, and it is customized content. Like I said, if you are at the very beginning, we start there. If you have a grasp of the fundamentals, maybe you're even already reading as a professional, and you want to learn what I know, to learn about the Divine Feminine Astrology, the 3 Liliths, Nessus, and the other points, the goddess points, and you want to learn how to connect with your center, your womb, in order to learn it, then you want to do the private tutorial. You will learn to listen to the planets, not read them, listen to them. And you will learn how to read transits. We will go into the ephemeris, if that's appropriate for where you are. You will learn how to use how to look up things online, how to look up the charts. Basically, you can geek out and just say, oh, give me more geekiness around astrology. Or you can geek down and basically stick with your intuition, like use my handouts and use your body and use your meditation to use your skill set, whatever medicine you bring to it, to meet the planets, these ancestors of the chart, and find out what it is they have to say through you. And you will experience the healing guidance of following your own chart through the moon cycle and the wheel of the year. So the investment will reflect all of those benefits and that level of personal attention. This is not an inexpensive class. This is a private tutorial, intensive, and because of that, I will only do 3 at a time. I have about three of these in my energy system that I can give out at any given time. So enrollment is incredibly limited right now. What else do I need to tell you about this? Well, I guess how you get started. I will answer any questions you have about the Astrology Foundation's Divine Feminine, the Divine Feminine Astrology Foundation's private tutorial. I have a PDF describing it, and all you have to do to get that is just private message me and I will send you one. You can also reach out to Carla at cosmiccrone.com. That is my email, and say, send me information about learning astrology. So I hope that this has been informative and inspiring for you, and I look forward to working with you as an astrology initiate, if that is what you are called to do. Thank you until next time.